Alright, so this is going to be a follow-up to the part 1 video. If you haven't watched it yet, please do, because you'll need this to get started with this video. In this case, what we're going to do is going to be interesting. It's going to be sort of like a walkthrough of me modifying a template, and I'll show you some tips and tricks that I learned along the way. So one thing to mention about the part 1 is that I mentioned for the compiling of the CSS file to install the SAS package, and actually it's my mistake. You don't actually need to install it if you do the composer install from the root folder of your SuiteCRM, because the package to do it is like in my version it wasn't there by default, so this CSS package. But if you do the composer install, then it's going to set up the package for you. So that's what I did, and if I go to the vendor bin, I do have the required executable to actually run this command, so that's going to make your life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do first is I'll take a look at the current design that is there in place right now, and if we look at it, it has about 4 different main colors to work with. So what I recommend doing, because chances are you're a programmer and not a designer, just like me, is to find a website like this that is going to give you the color combinations that you can just reuse. In my case, I'm going to go with something that contains the red colors. So I guess something like this. It's good to have something with a darker background because you're going to have the text on top of it, right? So maybe something not as bright as this. And in any case, so let's proceed with some of the tips and tricks. So one of the things that I was struggling with is understanding what colors in the color palettes are responsible for which sections. So you can sort of find them by looking at the variables and trying to figure out what the color is. So you can see here that it's the navbar inverse BG. So if we'll do the inspect tool here, we can sort of guess it by looking at this section here. So it's the navbar, and we are inside the inverted navbar, basics, blah. One of the other tricks that you can actually do is just get the color from here. We're going to copy the color, the hexadecimal codes, and then we're going to look them up here. So it's going to show us that it's the color number 7. So by taking this, we can actually go back to the variables and look up where is the color number 7 used. And it is used in main font color, first of all, then the login bar, and then anyways, so you get the idea, right? And that's sort of like the beauty that I realized of using the SCSS, is that by changing it using the SCSS instead of going the the regular CSS route, is that by changing it in one place, you're going to be changing it in a bunch of different places, which makes sense because this color, for example, matches the backgrounds of the other elements. So if you change just this in the CSS, then you're going to go and choose the different colors in different sections, which is going to be a big headache. So this is a good example here. So you see, I changed this, but this is not changed. So by using the SCSS files, you're going to make your life easier. All right, so let's go ahead and change it. I'm going to go with the once again, I'm not a designer, but I sort of want to get the sense of what's happening here. So this is the darker color, this is the lighter color. So I'm guessing I'm going to go with the crevice as the darker, and this as the lighter, and then even lighter is the sections that are here. Okay, so I sort of lined them up like this. So we'll see what happens here. So we'll go with the top bar first, since this is the cloud which is supposed to be in the sky. So let's go with this silly logic here. It's 1 p.m. so 1 a.m. actually, so maybe that's why I'm having these artistic thoughts here. So all right, this is going to be the color number 7. So what we'll do is we'll get to the section here. Best practice, as always, is to not delete and replace, is to copy paste and then modify. So that's what we'll do here. Copy pasting the color 7, I'm modifying it here. So that section, that part is done. The next part is actually to get it to display on the page. So this is the workflow that works for me, is the following commands, which is rm cache theme suite pcss name of the theme. So we're deleting whatever was cached. Then we're rebuilding the SCSS file. And then the final part is going to be inside the config.php, we're going to change the version number. So once again, I just backed up the original on top for the unique key. Not sure if it was needed, but I just did. I'm going to save. Then here I am going to refresh. It's going to log me out, and watch out that this is going to log out whomever is currently logged in. So just keep that in mind. We're going to go here, we're going to log back in, and this is the color now on top. So let's go ahead and change the other colors. And I'll use the same trick as before. So right click, inspect. I'm going to check out what the current color is. Sidebar, maybe a little bit higher as the selector. Color sidebar. So just trying to figure out, okay, it looks like, no, it's not that color, but it's something else. Okay, so I guess it's in the sidebar. Okay, so if we go down to the sidebar, background color, if we modify it, yeah, it changes. So before it was this color here. So let's check out what is the code for that specific color. It's SCSS, and it's the color number 20. So that's the brand primary color. So going to uncomment it. Then I'm going to take the color that I had planned for it, which is going to be the sidebar. I'm going to take that. Okay, so like that, save, and same thing once again. So remove, rebuild, change unique key, save. So if you've noticed, I'm not actually doing repair and rebuild, which is not necessary in this case. And yeah, I'm just doing it this way. Yeah, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about this, but okay, we'll keep going. We'll see what happens. Okay, so this is the next one. So once again, I'm starting with the lowest element that I just clicked on, inspect. That's not it. I'm not seeing anything that says background color, so I'm going to go up a little bit more. Background color, I'm going to try to toggle this. Yeah, this changes stuff, so that's what I'm going to replace next. So I'll take this here, I'm going to go here, color palette, and this is going to be the color 13. I'm going to copy, paste, and then the original is getting backed up just in case. All right, so I refreshed it, and actually, yeah, it's a bit better. It's a bit better. But it's kind of ugly though. Who are we kidding? Yeah, this is not good. So what I'll do is I'll try a different design, but at least you get a sense of how it works. One thing to mention though, before I wrap this up, is that for some of the elements, it's maybe better to use the actual CSS files. I'll give you an example, which is the login screen. So once you actually log out here, like the system doesn't know where you are right now, right? Like this is, okay, so I'm gonna explain what I mean. So if we do the, because you will log in and then you will choose your theme, your custom template, right? So in this case, what template does it use? It doesn't know what user is currently logged in, right? So it's here that you need to actually verify what is the CSS file that is being used here. So cache theme suite pcss done. So done is the default template. So this is the default CSS SCSS file that you will need to modify. So just keep that in mind. And also if it's an element where you need to just hide blocks, for example, or you need to do something a bit more advanced, you would do it inside the actual CSS. So let's do a live example right now. So I'm going to go here, theme, Suite CSS, done. I'm going to open up the, oh yeah, okay, so that's actually the mistake here. So cache, theme, style, CSS. Okay, so that's the CSS here. What we're going to do is prettify CSS, because that's a wall of text. Just CSS beautifier. Okay, okay. I'm pasting, nothing's happening. So beautify CSS, and that's the result. So I'm going to take this. We're going to go in the following place. So custom themes, Suite P, CSS, done, and then hold on, let's just double check here. Yeah, so it's here. I'm going to create a new file, which is going to be just the straight up style.css, not SCSS, but CSS. Okay. So just as a test, I found this development here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the display to none, and then I'm going to remove the folder that contains the cached version, which is this one here. Done. So the cached version is gone. Once again, we're going to redo the version. So 5555, save. Then we go here and then we refresh. Oh, okay, so it looks like it's the wrong element that I was modifying. So here it's the top with the href, I guess, the and the one that I was modifying was a different one somehow. What? Okay, no, that's actually exactly the same. Okay. Media. Oh, okay, so it's a different breakpoint, I guess. Media height. Oh, okay, I see. So it's for different screen sizes. So, but anyways, you see what I did. So I just changed it directly inside the style.css file, and that's a different route that you can go with this as well. If you have any questions or comments or tricks that you'd like to share, please do let me know, and thank you so much for watching. I do recommend that you subscribe because more of these videos will be made in the future, and if you have a recommendation for a video, please do let me know. Have an excellent day. Take care.